Hello again. Last na to sa solutions for the practice problems. And what we're working on now would be the last two problems. And these are the problems on dihybrid crosses. Okay? So, when we were working on the first 6 problems, we were just looking at one gene, right? One gene with 2 alleles. Okay? So, one pair of traits regarding one character. But now, if we're looking at the dihybrid cross, this time, we are going to take into consideration yun ngang second law ni Mendel, which is independent assortment. Okay? So, assuming that we're talking about genes that are found on separate chromosomes, during meiosis, okay, these genes assort independently of each other. So, anong consequence nun? That you can apply the rules of probability to solve problems on dihybrid crosses or trihybrid or maraming hybrid pa. Okay, more than 2 pairs or 3 pairs, kayang-kaya. Yung alternative assessment, that involves 10 gene pairs. Okay, so you might pick up some things from the discussion here. Anyway, okay. So I will show you as we solve the problems different ways in solving dihybrid crosses. Okay. So let's start with what's familiar. Okay. We will use first yung Punnett cross. Although let's look at the problem first, baka hindi naman kailangan. Okay, number 7, pretty easy. Number 7, how many different types of gametes can be formed by individuals of the following genotypes? Assume independent assortment. Okay? So, yung dinedescribe niya dito, number 7. Okay? So, the first individual has the genotype big A, small a, big B, small b. Okay? So, heterozygous siya for both gene pairs. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin dito? We determine how many different gametes can be produced by this parent. Or how many distinct gametes. Distinct, ibig sabihin, yung iba yung laman na alleles. Okay? Yung combinations of alleles. Kasi, in this case, pag dihybrid, diba, ang kinoconsider natin, hindi lang isang allele, kundi yung allele ng A at yung allele ng B na kasama dun sa gamete. Okay? Now, since heterozygous siya for A, di ba? Kunwari lang tinitingnan natin. So, if you have a heterozygous individual sa A, with respect to A, it can produce different types of gametes, di ba? Gametes containing big A and gametes containing small a. Okay? Now, also, heterozygous for B. So, pwede siya mag-produce ng gametes that contain big B and gametes that contain small b. Okay? So, ano yung medyo confusing na part? Since it assorts independently, they can combine in different ways. And that would be random. Okay? So, pwede tayong mag-form ng gametes na may big A, big B. Okay? Pwede tayong mag-form ng gametes na big A, small b. Or small a, big B. Or small a, small b. Okay? So, these are the different combinations of alleles that make up the different gametes. So, there are 4 distinct gametes that can be produced by this parent here. Okay? So, 4. So, you can, of course, lay it out dito na, ayan, since 2 pairs, 2 gene pairs lang naman, di ba, A at B. So, ina-expect natin, bawat gamete will contain one of each allele. Okay? So, pwedeng big A, pwedeng small a, pwedeng big B, pwedeng small b. Okay? So, 4. Pero paano may i-compute? Kunwari, meron kang 6 gene pairs. Okay? So, ang trick doon, hanapin mo kung ilang pairs yung heterozygous. Okay? Kasi ito yung magme-make ng difference. Kasi kung homozygous siya, diba? No matter what it is, it will just give it to all of its offspring. Okay? as you will see in the next example. So, ito yung titignan natin. So, here we're looking at two heterozygous gene pairs. So, two genes, diba, segregate into separate gametes. Okay? So, each gamete contains only one allele for each. So, may A siya, tapos may B siya. Ngayon, ilang A ang posible? Pwedeng big A, pwedeng small a. So, there are two possibilities with respect to A, since it's heterozygous for A. Also, when it comes to B, heterozygous din siya. So, there are also two possibilities. Pwedeng yung gamete, ang laman ay big B, pwede ring small b. So, 2. Okay? So, in a gamete containing both A and B, we have 4 different combinations, which is consistent with what we got the first time around when we just enumerated everything we could get. Okay? So, that will always apply. So, 2 times kung ilan man yung heterozygous na pairs. Okay? So, tingnan natin tong letter B. Mas madali nga si letter B, no? Letter B, ang genotype naman ni parent ay big A, big A, big B, big B. So, ilang gametes ang mapoproduce nito? Notice that for each pair, homozygous siya. So, with respect to A, it can only produce gametes containing big A. And for B, it will only produce gametes containing B. So, isang possibility lang for each. Right? So, all the gametes here would contain big A and big B. So, the answer here is 1. Okay? Ito, wala sa problem. Pero, pakita natin kung anong C. Bigyan ko kayo ng C. Okay. At, gawin nating mas challenging. So, let's look at 3 genes, A, B, and C. So, let's say that we have big A, small b, big C, small c. Oh, how many gametes are produced by this individual here? Okay, ano ulit yung trick? Hindi siya trick actually. Yun yung kailangan nyo hanapin. Ano yung, ilan yung heterozygous pairs? Okay? Kasi itong si A, homozygous siya. So, lahat ng gametes, ipapasa niya, big A lang. Pagdating naman dito sa B, homozygous pa rin siya. So, lahat ng gametes niya will contain only small b. But with respect to C, ito yung may 2 possibilities. Pwedeng mag-contain ng big C, pwedeng mag-contain ng small c. Okay? So, how do we compute for that? 1. Kasi 1 lang yung pwedeng ibigay. Also, 1 for B. But for C, there are 2 different ways or different possibilities. Okay? So, this gives us a total of 2 distinct gametes. And what is the allelic combination of those 2 alleles? Big A, small b, big C, and big A, small b, small c. Okay? Clear? O last. Oh, ito yung medyo medyo challenging. Kasi meron ng cross. Okay. Number 8. Ito yata yung hindi na natin nasagot sa class. I don't think we were able to answer this in Charm. Hindi rin namin nasagot sa Tau. Given the time constraints, I don't think masasagot din sa Graph at sa Truth. Anyway, I'll show the solution here so you have an idea how to do it. Okay? Or try it on your own first, and then you check out what the solution is. Okay? So, problem 8 reads, in sesame plants, the one-pod condition, big P. Parang napag-usapan namin to sa chan. Napag-usapan ba natin chan? Anyway, one pod, okay, big P. And then, it's dominant to small p, which is the 3-pod condition. Pa ako nakakakita ng ganito. So, big P is dominant over small p, 1 pod dominant over 3 pod. configuration, ang kanyang fruits, I suppose. And then, sesame plants na ito, we're not looking at, which apparently is also, so pod, it's also a legume. I did not know. Ang seeds ng sesame maliit eh. I'll have to look that up. Okay, so, yung pangalawang gene naman ay yung appearance ng leaf. Okay? So, the normal leaf is big L. Ibig sabihin ng normal, ano? And then, small l is wrinkled. Okay. Yung pala. Okay. So, these are our two genes. Yung fruit, ilang pods ang present, tapos yung appearance ng leaf. Okay? It's either normal or wrinkled. Now, pod type and leaf types are inherited independently. So, that tells us that these two genes are contained on separate chromosomes. So, they are able to assort independently. Okay? So, we can apply our probability rules. So, letter A. Ang tanong sa A. If two plants heterozygous for both traits are crossed, what will be the genotypic ratios in the offspring? Okay. Genotypic ratio sa dihybrid cross. Okay? So, two plants heterozygous for both traits. So, what would be the genotypes of these plants? Okay, sabi heterozygous for both. So, for pods, big P, small p. And then for leaves, big L, small l. So, they are hybrid for two characters. So, ito yung dihybrid. Okay, so, we're doing a dihybrid cross. So, letter A asks us for the genotypic ratio. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Letter B, phenotypic ratio. Okay, yung hint dito, dito ko pala ginawa yung, sorry, going off on a tangent. Dito ko ginawa yung fourth line method para sa charm. Kasi nun sa tao, hindi na kami nagka-time. Okay, anyway. Kasi kailangan ko pang intro si Reebok kanina. Anyway, so, we're going to do a dihybrid cross. Sige, the suggestion is to treat it as two monohybrid crosses. I will do the problem first using the Punnett square. Okay? Kasi yun naman yung alam natin kung paano gawin. Tapos, after that, I will show you yung fourth line method. And after that, I'll show you a super shortcut. Okay. Dayain. So, anyway, so ito yung parents. Okay? So, we have two dihybrids. We're crossing them. Asking for a genotypic ratio. So, if you do yung Punnett square, diba, what do you do first? Determine the gametes. So, gametes, sa P, you have big P and small p. Sa L, big L and small l. Okay? So, when these combine during independent assortment, randomly, pwedeng magkaroon ng gametes na big P, big L, big P, small l, small p, big L, small p, small l. So, when we do our Punnett square, it's going to be, same to, diba? Same sila. Same parents, same gametes. So, when you do a Punnett square with a dihybrid cross, you're going to do a 4x4. Ooh, it's gonna be small. So, let's just write the gametes on the side. And then on the top. Okay. And then, let's determine the genotypes of the offspring by combining the alleles from each gamete. So, this is big P, big P, big L, big L. Kung kaya nyo kung sabayan. Big P, big P, big L, small l. Big P, small p, big L, big L. Big P, small p, big L, small l. Big P, big P, big L, small l. Big P, big P, small l, small l. Big P, small p, big L, small l. Big P, small p, small l, small l. Again, by convention, diba, we write the dominant allele first in a pair kung may dominant allele. Okay? big P, small p. So, yung ginawa natin dito. Big L, big P, small p, big L, small p, big L, small p, big L, small p. Tapos, ano na ito? Big P, small p, big L, small big P, small L, small p, big L, small l, and then small p, small l. Okay. So, these are the different genotypes. Is it enough to present that and say na, ayan, yan na yung genotypic ratio? No, diba? So, actually, may mga umuulit dito. Okay? You want to present it na genotypic ratio, then you have to determine what the distinct genotypes are. Okay? So, let's try to enumerate. Okay? So, kita pa naman sana to. Meron tayong, ayan, big P, big L, big P, big L, small l, big P, maiintindihan yung placement ko mamaya. Big L, big P, small p, big L. So, ito pareho na nito. Okay? So, i-tick natin. So, ito may ilan na tayo? 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is the same as this one, right? So, dalawa na siya. Okay? I-ano na nga natin. I-mark na natin kung tapos na natin. Nakalito no? Big P, small l. Yan, wala pa. May isa tayo. Okay? This one. Big P, small p, big L, small l. Meron na tayo dito. So, let's just tick that as well. Big P, small l. Wala pa. So, dito, lagay natin. 1. Okay. Big P, small p, big L. Saan yan? Ito. Dalawa na. This one here is big P, small p, big L, small l. 3. Small p, big L. May bago tayong grouping. 1. Small p, big L, small l. There's 1. And then, big P, small p, big L, small l. Meron na naman ito. Okay. Big P, small l, small l. Here. And then, small p, big L, small l. It's this one. And then, small p, big, small l, small l. 1. Okay. So, what is our genotypic ratio? 1. Dominant, homozygous is 2. 2. Homozygous, dominant, heterozygous for L is 1. Homozygous, dominant, and then homozygous recessive for L is 2. 2. Heterozygous for P, homozygous, dominant for L is 4. Heterozygous for both pairs is 2. Heterozygous for P, homozygous recessive for L is 2. Mahaba-haba yung ating ratio. 1. Small p. So, homozygous recessive for P, homozygous dominant for L is 2. 2. Homozygous recessive for P, heterozygous for L is 2. 1. Homozygous for P, homozygous recessive for P, homozygous recessive for L. Okay. So, yan yun. 1 is 2 is to 1. Is to 2 is to 4 is to 2 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1. Okay? So, pansinin nyo dito, lahat ng P ay homozygous dominant. Dito, lahat ng P ay heterozygous. Tapos, dito, lahat ng P ay homozygous recessive. So, ganun yung pag-arrange ko sa kanya. Tapos, dito sa line na to, lahat ng L ay homozygous dominant. Okay? Dito, lahat ng L ay heterozygous. Tapos, dito, lahat ng L ay homozygous recessive. Okay? So, yun yung pattern niya. 1 is to 2 is to 1. 2 is to 4 is to 2. 1 is to 2 is to 1. Okay. Phenotypic ratios. So, sorry, na-skip ko. May 9 na genotypes. Tinanong ko pala ito sa class. How many genotypes are possible? Although there are 16 squares in your Punnett square for the dihybrid cross, there are only 9 genotypes. Okay? 9. Bakit 9? With respect to P, you can have homozygous dominant, heterozygous, and homozygous recessive. So, 1, 2, 3 different genotypes with respect to P. Pagdating naman sa L, kakombi niya, pwedeng homozygous dominant, heterozygous, at homozygous recessive. Tatlo ring different genotypes. So, you have 3, combine it with another 3, which gives us 9. So, there are 9 possible genotypes when it comes to a dihybrid cross. Take note, dihybrid cross, yung parents have to be heterozygous for both gene pairs. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin dito? May 9 genotypes tayo. Tama? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Okay? Phenotypes naman. Ilang phenotypes ang possible? Ilan? Parang may sasagot sa akin, no? For each, let's take it for each gene pair. So, for P, there are how many phenotypes possible? 2, diba? Kasi dominant si big P kay small p. So, ito, pareho sila ng phenotype. Tapos, ito, may hiwalay na phenotype. So, dalawang possible na phenotype with respect to P. Pagdating sa L din, dominant si big L, si normal leaf. Okay? So, ito, magkapareho ng phenotype. And then, there's a second phenotype, which is the wrinkled. Okay? So, 2 combined with 2 from the pod, combined with the different types of leaves, gives us 4 different phenotypes. So, what are those phenotypes? May 1 pod, normal, 1 pod, wrinkled, 3 pod, normal, and 3 pod, wrinkled. Nakikita pa ba to? Nasa dulo na ng papel. I hope so. Hindi ko masilip. I don't know. Anyway, kita ba? Kita ba? Sagad na sagad. Bayaan na natin nasa taas. Okay, sige. So, these are the possible phenotypes. How do we know the ratios? We can count, right? So, ito ay 1 pod normal. Tama? 1. Ano pa? This one is also 1 pod normal. Dalawa sila. So, 3. Okay, sorry. I paused it and then by accident na-stop ko na siya. Anyway, let's continue. So, we were looking at the phenotypic ratio in this dihybrid cross. So, 1 pod normal, let's count. This is, hinahanap natin kung ilan yung may big P at big L. Okay? So, 1 pod normal, 1. Tanggalin na natin ang 1, 2, 3, sampa. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Meron pa ba? Wala na. 9. 1 pod normal is parehong dominant. Okay? So, 9 nun. 1 pod wrinkled. So, we're looking at may isang big P at least, tapos homozygous for small l. Okay? So, meron tayong ilan? Ito. 1. Ito pa. 2, 3. Meron pa ba? Wala na. So, 3. 1 pod wrinkled. Notice that 1 pod is the dominant trait for yung number of pods, and then wrinkled is recessive. Okay? Ano na? 3 pod normal. So, we're looking for recessive sa tripod, small p, and then, normal is may isang big L at least. Okay? So, we have 1 here, and then 2, 3 here. So, 3 na recessive at dominant na combination. And then, finally, 3-pod wrinkled, ito yung phenotype na recessive for both, which is this one. 1. So, ito yung na-observe ni Mendel, diba? 9:3:3:1. So, he found that in all of his experiments, consistent yan. When he was studying 2 genes at a time, or 2 characters at the same time, he found na ganito yung ratio sa F2. F2 is the offspring of yung mismong dihybrid. Okay? Kasi if you go back pa, diba, the parentals would be yung purebred. Okay? Na either parehong dominant or at crossed with parehong recessive. Basta in either case, pwede na magkahalo. Pero yun nga, dapat homozygous sila for all the conditions they have. Okay. So, malinaw, guys. Yun yung Punnett square. So, we did the Punnett square and we were able to determine what the genotypic and the phenotypic ratios are. Okay. So, ito yung genotypic ratio. Ito yung phenotypic ratio. Okay. Now, the other method I was talking to you about is what's called the let me skip. It's messy. Iniisip nyo, I'm wasting paper. We can recycle. Pero nga, ang dami ko kasing notebook ngayon ko lang nagagamit. Let's do what's called ito. May mga ibang nadidinig pag sinasabi ko. Forked line. Because we have a lot of branching lines using this technique. Forked line method. So, you can also use this for genetics kasi. Okay? Besides the Punnett square, some people find this easier to do. Because when you work on beyond the 2 pairs of genes, malaki na yung square na gagawin, medyo nakakahilo ng tignan. Ito takes you directly to yung outcomes. Okay? So, ano ba yung hint, diba? If you look at the hint for number 8, sabi, hint, treat this cross as 2 monohybrid crosses. Okay? So, we can do it one monohybrid cross at a time. So, ang ating problem, diba kanina, is we crossed big P, small p, big L, small l with big P, small p, big L, small l. Okay? So, essentially, you can break this down into 2 monohybrid crosses, diba? So, this is like a cross of big P, small p with big P, small p, and a cross with big L, small l, and big L, small l. Okay? Nakasunod so far? So, when you cross big P, small p with big P, small p, it's a monohybrid cross. Mas madaling gawin. Baka memorize nyo na yung outcomes nito, diba? In terms of yung genotypes, diba? There are 3 possible genotypes. Big P, big P, big P, small p, small p, small p. Okay? Now, if you do the Punnett square as well, you'll be able to determine what frequencies these occur in, or simply the genotypic ratio for the 4 possible outcomes. Ang chance na magkaroon ng big P ay 1 out of 4. Chance na magkaroon ng big P, small p ay 2 out of 4 or 1/2. At ang chance na magkaroon ng small p ay 1 out of 4 ulit. Okay? So, these are the outcomes with respect to yung cross ng big P, small p. Okay. So, we have to take that into consideration na hahalo din siya dun sa kung ano yung outcomes ng L. So, this is where your forked line starts. Actually, ito na yun. You started here. Hindi ko na lang nilagay. Yan yung starting point. Sorry. Tapos, for each of these, they combine with the different outcomes ng big L, small l. Ano ba yung outcomes na yan? Similar din dito, di ba? That you can get big L, big L, big L, small l, and then small l, small l. And with what chance? This is 1/4, this is 1/2, this is 1/4. Right? So this big P, since it's independent assortment, can combine with any of these three at these probabilities. Okay? So same thing with this. With the heterozygous P, diba? Can also combine with either of these three. And also, the last, small p, ganun din. Meron pa rin fireworks. Tapos na yung fiesta kahapon na. So, ito yan. Yung column na yan. Sorry. Kagulo. Okay. So, anong gagawin natin next step? Nakikita nyo ba? Silipin ko okay. Kita naman. So, ano nang gagawin natin? Iko-combine na natin yung genotypes with respect to P dun sa L. Okay? So, this one, pag pagsamahin natin would be big P, big P, big L, big L. This one with this one is big P, big L, small l. And this one here is big P, small l, small l. O, dito naman tayo. Heterozygous sa P, big L, heterozygous sa P, big L, small l, heterozygous din, big P, small l, small l. Okay, last. Small p, combining with big L, small p, combining with big L, small l, and then small p, combining with small l, small l. Okay, so these are the 9 genotypes. Hindi na natin kailangan isa-isahin yung compartments, diba? Alin ba dito yung distinct? Ito na yung 9 genotypes mismo. So, ang tanong ngayon, ano yung frequencies? Okay? At what proportion do each of these genotypes occur? How do we determine that? Remember your law of multiplication. If you want two events to occur at the same time, you just multiply their respective probabilities. So, 1/4 times 1/4 is 1 out of 16. 1/4 times 1/8 is 1/8 or 2 out of 16. Para consistent tayo, pare-parehong denominator. Okay? 1/4 times 1/4 ulit, 1/16. Okay? 1/2 times 1/4, 2/8 or, 1/8 or 2/16. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4 or 4/16. 1/2 times 1/4, 1/8 or 2/16. Okay? 1/4 times 1/4 is 1/16. 1/4 times 1/2, 1/8 is 2/16. And then 1/4 times 1/4 is 1/16. So this is our genotypic ratio. 1:2:1, 2:4:2, 1:2:1. Consistent with, asan na yun? The one that we did with the Punnett square, right? Easier. So this is already your genotypic ratio. Okay? So, same din. Paano yung phenotypic ratio? Magbibilang din tayo. Gamitin natin si law of addition. Gusto natin malaman si one pod, normal leaf, shorthand dun sa genotypes. Okay? Tapos, ano ba isang combination natin? One pod, wrinkled leaf. Okay? Tapos si three pod, normal leaf. Tapos si three pod, wrinkled leaf. These are the 4 different phenotypes that are possible. So, ilan ito? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Meron pa ba? Wala na. O, ilan ito? 1 pod wrinkled. 1, 2, 3. Wala na. 3 pod normal. So, 1, 2, 3. Right? And then, 1 pod. Ay, sorry. 3, sorry. 3 pod. Gugutom na. 3 pod wrinkled ay 1. And here is our phenotypic ratio. Okay? So, this is a little more straightforward if you want to use it. Okay? So, ano yung sinasabi kong pinaka-shortcut? Since alam nyo naman yung rules ng probability, ay law of multiplication, law of addition, kaya nyo namang gawin yung kung yung simple problem lang, kasi ito yung hindi natin tinanong, ano, yung what is the probability na parehong recessive? Kunwari, in a dihybrid cross, what is the probability na parehong recessive yung traits na makukuha ni offspring? Okay? How do we determine that? So, yung combination na both recessive traits are present in the F2. Okay? So, F2 is the offspring of yung cross natin na ito. Okay. So, gusto nating malaman kung ano yung probability na parehong recessive yung traits. Okay? So, without doing the Punnett square, the fourth line method, how do we determine this? What genotypes can give us that combination na parehong recessive traits? Since recessive trait siya, dapat homozygous recessive siya for both. Right? Okay. Anong probability nito? Remember, law of multiplication. For these two events to occur at the same time, you have to multiply their respective probabilities. So, we have to multiply. Anong probability nito from this cross? 1/4. Anong probability na ito yung outcome nitong cross na to? Also, 1/4. Multiply 1/16. Consistent. Right? Tama ba? Tanungin kita. Kayo. Sorry. Kung both dominant naman, how do we solve that? Ang ginawa ko dito, probabilities lang. Without doing the Punnett square, the fourth line method. Basta alam mo yung outcome ng monohybrid cross, kayang-kaya mo to. Right? So, kung both dominant traits present in the individual, ay, ano ba ibig sabihin ng both dominant? Meron kang at least isang dominant na allele for both. Okay. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Kailangan makonsider natin yung ibang possibilities na magbibigay sa atin ng dominant trait. Pero alam din natin, di ba, na yung phenotypic ratio ng dominant to recessive is what? 3/4, right? Di ba? Because, di ba, for this to occur, for you to have one pod condition, ika-count natin yung probability ng homozygous or heterozygous. So, 1/4 times 1/2, plus, law of addition, that there is more than one way to get to a particular outcome. Okay? So, the outcome is dominant trait na 1 pod. We have the probability for this is 1/4. The probability for this is 1/2. So, we add and we get, alam naman natin to, 3/4 actually. Diba? 3/4 1 pod is to 1/4 3 pod. Yun yung alam nating outcome ng cross nung P big P, small p with big P, small p. Okay? And then, dito naman, paano tayo magkakaroon ng offspring na may normal leaf? Diba? You count si homozygous dominant at saka si heterozygous. Alam din natin na 1/4 at 1/2. Or alam natin na yung shortcut na 3:1, 3/4 probability that we'll get that will get offspring that have the normal leaf trait. Okay? So, from the cross na big L, small l, big L, small l. So, anong gagawin natin? Gusto nating mag-occur yung dalawang dominant traits together at the same time. So, you have to multiply 3/4 times 3/4, 9/16. Again, consistent with that. Okay? So, you can try other combinations. So, this is the shortest shortcut of all. Diba? Okay? So, depende. It depends on the problem. Okay? May problem na mas madaling gamitin si Punnett square, may problem na mas madaling gamitin si fork line, may problem na madaling gawin tong shortcut. Okay? Basta naiintindihan nyo kung bakit nyo ginagawa yung steps. That's all I ask. And, of course, if the problem specifies that you use one or the other, then you'll have to follow the instructions to get full credit in the assessment. Okay? So, I hope you learned something from the video. Ito na lang muna. Baka dun sa ibang modes of inheritance ay mag-post din ako ng answer key by video. First time ko itong gawin. Anyway, thanks for watching. Good luck sa paggawa ng assessment. If you have questions, don't forget you can always send me an email. Okay? So, bye guys. See you.